Hi guys, in this episode of Shri series, we're going to be talking about acceleration and solving questions involving acceleration. All right. Now, if you looked at my previous section on acceleration, you noticed that we looked at the formula. So we're going to be using this formula to solve two questions in this session today. All right. So a bit of a recap. What is acceleration? Now, if you looked at my last video, acceleration is change in velocity over time. So the formula for acceleration is A equals V minus U over T. All right. Now, let's look at this question. A car accelerates from rest to 45 meters per second in 15 seconds. Calculate the car's acceleration. All right. Now, just remember, these values may not be exact. It's just to show you how to calculate acceleration. All right. So just like the way we solve questions, we need to look at what information has been given here. Now, I can see the car starts from rest to 45 meters per second in 15 seconds. All right. So what is my U, what is my V, and what is my T? All right. So my U is my initial velocity. Now, when you hear the word rest, starts from rest. In physics, rest means 0 meters per second. All right, so you're starting from your original 0 meters per second. So U is 0 meters per second. What's my V? So it's starting from rest to 45 meters per second. So you can use the word from to. So from original to final. So in this case, you can see from rest to 45 meters per second. So the rest is your U and 45 meters per second is V, which is your final velocity. So V becomes 45 meters per second and T becomes 15 seconds. All right, because that's the time. So let's now substitute the values in here. A is equal to V minus U equals T. So that's going to be 45 minus 0 divided by 15. So that's going to be 45 divided by 15. And that will give you 3 meters per second square. All right. So the acceleration of the car now becomes 3 meters per second square. All right. So let's look at another question. So in question 2, let's read this out. A bike accelerates from 10 meters per second to 30 meters per second in 5 seconds. Calculate the bike's acceleration. All right. So what information do we have? From 10 meters per second to 30 meters per second in 5 seconds. All right. So we write the formula. A is equal to V minus U over T. My V becomes 30 meters per second. That's my final velocity. My U becomes 10 meters per second. That is my initial velocity. And my T becomes 5 seconds, which is my time. So we're now going to substitute the values there. That's going to be 30 minus 10 divided by 5. That's 20 divided by 5. And the answer is going to be 4 meters per second squared. So the acceleration of the bike becomes 4 meters per second squared. So when you're solving basic questions involving acceleration, the first thing you need to do is to write down the appropriate formula, which is A is equal to V minus U over T. The next thing is we need to find out what information is given. So in other words, what's my V, what's my U, and what's my T? And finally, substitute the numbers in the formula and write down the appropriate unit when solving this question. All right. So that's how we work out acceleration questions. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye now.